Hi, I'm Emily. I already forgot what you asked us to say. I'm a junior biobehavioral health major. My minors are global health, biology, and international agriculture. I am obviously with a global health minor. I'm really interested in global studies, and I'm really interested in women's and children's health. So this trip to Sri Lanka seemed like a perfect avenue for me to gain experience with those topics. My most memorable experience, I'll answer this a little bit differently than anybody else probably will. The best part of this trip for me, like I absolutely loved being there, and I loved doing everything that we did, and I loved meeting all of these wonderful people, and working in schools and talking to nonprofit workers. That was amazing. But probably the most amazing part of the trip was, and I didn't plan this going into it, I bought a journal the first day that we were there, and I kept like a really detailed journal of everything that we did, so that would be my like kind of present to my parents when I came back. But that has turned into a huge advocacy piece that I've used and given to friends and family. It's still circulating around, except I got hold of it coming back from Brig from a friend, and I'm going to put it into a blog post. But that has been a way for me. A lot of these conversations were so incredible while we were there. It's been a way for me to share them with other people and with people that these messages probably wouldn't reach, about gender, about globalization, about poverty, education. So that was a really cool part of the trip for me.
Okay, hi, I'm Jewel. I'm a history and anthropology and political science major. And what was it? Why did I join? Honestly, I read the listserv and thought it would be an amazing experience. I had never traveled farther than Europe. Through anthropology, I started learning different ideas about how we interact with cultures and how we view other cultures. And I wasn't doing anything else for the summer, so that's how I ended up on this trip. And probably the most memorable experience. It's really hard because it's actually a joke in my family now. I always say, well, when I was in Sri Lanka, so they practice everything I say with me now. It was probably when we went to the orphanage, and Valerie was talking a lot about reforming the orphanage system in Sri Lanka, and all these little kids come running up to you and start hugging you. Now, if you've ever hung out with a bunch of 7- and 8-year-olds, the last thing they want to do is actually be close to you, and it's just because they were so not starved for attention, but they don't get that connection because it's so institutionalized. And I think that's probably what I remember most about, and I appreciate the Valerie's working to reform that system.
Hi, I'm Carla. I think my major is finance. Get back to you on that one. But I'm a sophomore. The reason that I joined, or that I found out about the foundation test was in the African lobby. And then I thought it was a really cool opportunity because you always hear about charity work and nonprofits, and they always are this huge thing. And it's you can do this one thing, donate $5 or whatever. But this was a huge opportunity to be able to actually get involved and be a part of something that you could actually see in front of you. So that was why I got involved. And then also as a result of my involvement, Valerie has become a huge mentor. I think we can say for all of us, she is an example of one person making a huge difference, and it's really cool to have the opportunity and the exposure to that person. I don't think I have a most memorable moment, but I just want to say I often get kind of frustrated with college, always going to classes and only working towards a grade on a piece of paper, but this is an opportunity to actually get involved in the world outside of Penn State, even as undergraduates, and it's an amazing opportunity. And if you guys have any inclination to go, I recommend just YOLO, and you will love yourself later for doing it.
Yes. Hi, my name is Tess. I talked to you guys earlier. I'm an international politics and psychology double major, the Spanish and philosophy double minor. I was an intern with the foundation, which is obviously a big part of why I went on the trip, but also because I'm just very passionate about issues of development and women's issues and girls' issues, especially the right to have an education, which I think we can all agree is a really important part of our lives and a privilege. The Most memorable thing a part of the about the trip. I think I went into it knowing, because I traveled before, that I would learn a lot about a different country, and I would learn a lot of new information, and I would make memories, and I would come back and I'd be like, oh, it's so beautiful, it's so amazing. But I think what distinguishes this trip from other trips that you can take, not to bash on any of those, is that this trip is really going to stretch you and is going to make you not only learn a lot about information and knowledge and culture, but it's going to force you to look inward and learn a lot about yourself. And that was not something that I was expecting. And a big part of that was just the group of people that we went with, and the dialogue that was facilitated by Valerie really prompts you to dig deep. And I was so inspired by we were all girls last year, by the women that I traveled with, that I really was forced to reevaluate my perspective and to grow, not just as a scholar, but to grow as a human being, which I think oftentimes it's easy to get caught up in the daily life of college, and you're in your own little world, and you're going, and take a moment to really reflect on who you are, who you want to be, and then take a step towards that person. And that was why it was really memorable.
Yeah, I stole mine, but okay. I'm Alyssa, I'm a sophomore. I'm now a community environment development major with minors in civic and community engagement, and hopefully international agriculture. So try fitting that all on one line. But I went on the trip because Teresa Hampshire was standing in the lobby, and I was like, I want to go and travel with her. Just kidding, no. It sounded like an amazing opportunity. I'd never been out of the country, and so Sri Lanka sounded like the first place that I would go naturally. And honestly, I just really appreciated, I mean, maybe a lot of people say this, but it didn't feel like volunteer tourism, because just the approach that the foundation takes, means a lot to me. There's not really a sugarcoating, going into it thinking that you're gonna change the world from this. It'll change you probably more than the rest of the world, but to me that was really valuable because Tess and Emily and everybody else was kind of saying, the conversations that we had over there, I think definitely expanded my mindset and frame of mind, and sort of honestly helped me evaluate exactly what I wanted to do, which I'm still figuring out, but this was probably the catalyst for that thought process. So I guess you could say that could happen anywhere, it could happen in Atherton Lobby, but being in Sri Lanka really just definitely amplified that. And then, I mean, it's beautiful, the kids are cute, you can't just count that part, but for me, I really enjoyed that.
Does anybody have any questions for these ladies? I know they're intimidating because they all have a million degrees of
Seriously, I go backwards and I just
But it's more about logistics within the two trips, which I know is new this year. Will they interact at all, or are they just two completely independent programs?
Yeah, so there's actually we can go back to the slide, but there's a week overlap. The first one, the 3-week trip, starts closer to the beginning of, or closer to the end of May. Middle of May, May 12th to June 2nd. So that one is 3 weeks, and then that overlaps for about 1 week with the 5-week trip. I think there might be some interaction, but they're pretty independent. Especially, it'll be interesting to see what Dr. Brennan wants to do. And there's a link to a video about him in the PowerPoint. We can send that out after. But he's a really cool guy. Kind of he teaches classes here. I feel from what I've heard, I haven't taken classes with him, but I would probably recommend it. So they're separate. The Rethinking Gender, Globalization, and Poverty trip is more what we did, where we had interaction with schools and the orphanages, and it definitely is more of the cultural immersion tourism. You get to see a little bit more and do some more relaxing type things, although I don't think any of us relax. It's constant moving, but I mean, if you have 3 weeks there, why do you want to sit on a beach, I guess?
Yeah, we crammed a lot in 10 days, but we all agreed at the end that we wouldn't have taken anything out. You're exhausted when you get home, but you have
3 weeks or 5 weeks or 10 days to spend and soak up everything that you can. So it's definitely, like, you'll be tired, but it's definitely worth it.
Get your money's worth.
Yeah, you definitely will get your money's worth. That's for sure.
Yeah, go ahead.
I have a question. What exactly are the 7 weeks in State College?
Okay, so that's like it's not like formalized prep, but it is, you'll be working most likely like with Valerie or with Dr. Brennan, sort of researching and investigating like what types of projects that you think you might want to do. So that will be more of like a dialogue with her, like to talk about what the options are, what you're interested in. As you can see, we have like a diverse spread of majors, so if you are super environmentally conscious or focused, you can talk to her about that, about connecting up with somebody who's already established there and sort of developing like your own project and seeing what they need to, because it's not just go in and implement this, it is a community-based approach.
And Alyssa, can I just elaborate on
Oh, she's been there.
Yeah.
Okay, so what we're envisioning that we will do, and we did a little bit of this, we did this last year as well, but we want to come up with a list of potential service opportunities, for example, that you could do. The gender program is probably going to be a much more, fewer options to choose from. Because it is such a focused topic around gender, and so we'll probably do something similar to what we did last year. But with the community development program, we're going to work with Dr. Brennan and a network of nonprofits that we work with in Sri Lanka, and come up with a list of potential projects that you guys can